Hi, and welcome to Gamer Weekly. We've been trying to record an episode now for a very long time, and you can't really tell
Defeated
because who knows?
faces.
Maybe this is the one. So, main things to go over. This might be a really choppy episode. I don't know yet. Maybe this will actually work this time. Um, Things you need to know. You're listening to Gamer Weekly. This is Charles from Coffee Addict Studios. He's a coffee addict. They've got a new game coming out, and it's called Hazel Sky, and he's going to tell you about it right now. I don't know if I said a number of things, but it's like hear it.
I'm
Okay.
gonna tell the summary of the game. Well, oh my god, Hazel Sky is a third-person action adventure game that people are comparing to Uncharted right now. It has mechanics from the Uncharted series. It has mechanics from the Inside from Playdeads, and the story people are talking about like is Firewatch, but it's not Firewatch. Uh, because I'm not as good of a writer as the people from Firewatch because they work on Telltale games and all that, and also because you don't have as much budget as them, so the game it's pretty much a light puzzle game with some platforming mechanics and action set pieces from the gameplay perspective. I would say the game's pretty much that because it's really story driven. So we try to space out the most like set piece, puzzle section, platforming section, set piece. So it's simple game, but there's so much care and detail on the lore. So you can examine books, you can examine small objects. The game is full of little secrets and mysteries that I try to not talk about, but the last two podcasts I did, I just spilled the beans. Like you can play with another characters. There's a city in the game, and so
You die at
please.
the end of the
Yeah,
game.
no, not that. But there's so much stuff in the game that it's even hard to cut the trailers, like to don't spoil everything. So that's pretty much it, I guess.
So, what inspired you guys to? Because I felt like I keep wanting to call it Blade and Soul, and that's not what it is.
It's the Souls clone, so it's
But
Blade and Bones
yes, Blade and Bones. Thank you.
or shitty game.
It was shitty.
It was pretty shitty. Like you could not hit the enemies really well. So when you don't do that in a Souls-like game, that's a pretty big problem.
I would say that it was a learning tool for
Yeah.
future games. Everyone
Yeah.
makes something that's not. I mean, if this show is a great, great example of things like my arm's currently going through the video.
Yeah. But you don't cringe when you think about the show. Like every time I'm happy, I think about Blade and Bones, and I'm like, you did that. And I'm just sad for like 10 minutes. Everybody on the team is like that. So we will overcome that with Hazel Sky. We hope so.
So it's not, it doesn't have to do with Gamer Weekly, but when I was in college, I interviewed one of my favorite bands, and I was extremely terrified, and you can hear it in
Which
my
band?
voice. The band's called Bayside. They're from Queens, New York. They were bigger when like the emo heyday was going on,
Oh,
but um, I was super excited to meet them, and I was so scared. At one point, I was looking at the TV because it had like the oh god, it's
great
it
idea.
was it was like
Hit the microphone.
it was like that, like that DVD logo thing where it like is bouncing around. I was like
Yeah.
looking at that at one point, and I think he could tell that I was looking at it too. It looked like he was getting kind of like annoyed, and I'm like, I'm scared. I'm so terrified.
Oh
Like
my
I've
God.
never done this, and it was my first ever interview of anything, and so having to interview my favorite band. Not familiar with the recorder that I had. Luckily, it worked fine. And I'm just sitting here like, if this goes horribly, I'm gonna cry.
Yeah. But we have a bunch of those experiences throughout life. Like I remember things from when I was high school and middle school. Like it just hurts, just thinking about them. So the game is a big one for me.
I remember back in fifth grade, my teacher told me that she was worried because I didn't like talk a lot or something. And so I was like, oh, you know what? In middle school, I'm going to talk more. No, no,
Oh,
no, no,
I
no.
thought it was changing. I think the story was going like, and I started with the racial slurs because I think
No.
it's
No, it
okay.
wasn't anything like that. Uh, oh, I do remember. God, this is all right. This is my cringy middle school story. So here's the thing. I was not very popular because I was really annoying, and I get that. Trust me, looking back on it, I think about it every day. It keeps me up at 3 a.m. You know the famous prank where you pull someone's chair and they fall on the floor, and everyone's like, "Ha, funny, funny,
I did
yeah, like,
that to a girl as well.
yeah."
Someone did to you?
No, no, it's worse. Okay,
Oh,
so I'm sitting there, and my friend is like off to the side, and he's about to sit down. And now my friend, very popular guy. He was friends with everybody. Me, no,
oh.
no. Everyone hated me, and I'm like, I'm gonna do it to him. I'm gonna pull his
Oh.
chair. Everyone's gonna think it's so funny. I pull his chair. He falls on the floor, and he's like rubbing his hand. I was like, oh god, he broke his hand, but he didn't. Thank
Oh.
God. But the entire room goes quiet. Not a
Yeah.
single stir. And I'm just looking at it like,
What did I do? Right?
if it was the other way around where he did it to me, oh, everyone would have
They
thought that was
would
fucking hilarious
probably,
because everyone
yeah.
hated me. But
Yeah.
since everyone hated me and I went for someone that everyone liked, everyone was like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why would you do
Uh,
that? I'm like, eh.
Total mental breakdown.
So I'm like,
I
well,
did that to a girl when I was like in fifth grade, fourth grade, something like that. And it was so weird because they did it to me like a day ago. And then I'm gonna fuck someone up with that. And because in my brain it was like this school was not individual persons. So I did this to one girl and I felt so bad that to this day, like I feel bad for her. Ugh. Because doing that to I think like a guy doing that to a girl is so much worse. Like it feels like it's not comparable. Like doing two guys broing around, fucking each other up, it's way more common, right? So
right. So
yeah,
that's something that I think about like every single day now. Like, oh god, why did I do that?
you're still friends with him?
Well, so I mean, you know how the passage of time goes. Uh,
Oh,
I haven't spoken to him in years. I mean, we were cool after that, you know, and he was like, he didn't really care. Um, but yeah, I was like, I'm sorry, like I thought it would be funny. It wasn't. I don't know what I was thinking, and yeah. Um, One of the funny things he did to me, though, I thought it was hilarious. Was so I had this shirt that I won from a contest. I know this is going to be riveting content for everybody. Like I thought this was about games. Like no, 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 no. So we had this music class together, and I had this shirt that I won in a contest at the community college next door, and because we had a field trip there, and I was like, yeah, I never win anything. So I had this little lunchbox with a Rubik's Cube and this shirt. Like, yeah, I won this shirt. I'm going to wear this shirt. He falls over at one point during the music class and he grips onto my sleeve. And there I am, just nipple out because the whole sleeve just
oh
ripped
my God.
straight out.
Oh,
And I'm like, you
that's
ripped my
way worse.
shirt.
It's like fucking your property. Like that's so much worse.
I thought it was funny because I'm like, what am I supposed to do now with this? We stapled this shirt together. People were like, what the fuck is wrong with your shirt? Like,
Oh.
he ripped the shirt.
Damn. Yeah, you should not like forgive him. You love that shirt, like I don't know.
That shirt meant something to me. I
Yeah,
cried in that
exactly.
shirt.
You like doing Rubik's Cube?
I lost it.
but
And then the
you
lunchbox ripped too.
did you ever did like a Rubik's Cube in real life? You like to play around with him?
Uh, it was I could never get it back to normal. But
Oh,
it was also really a really shitty Rubik's Cube too. Like it didn't really turn the way that you'd want it to. But I will say high school got way better the first year, terrible second and third, and then fourth year I peaked, you know? I was like, all right, here we go. And then I would say college was right when I was still really awkward, but I would say that I got a lot better
hitting
about
the
being
stride, you know?
awkward.
Yeah,
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 because
you're
I
okay with
was
yourself.
yeah, because I started doing radio and that got me out of like my like,
Uh,
okay, when you talk, maybe you should talk with a little more conviction in what you're saying, and then people won't just look at you like you're an idiot. I mean,
when you
people still
said
looked at me.
I'm started doing, I was like started doing which drug? I was starting to think like which drug got him on. Like, but I'm gonna
So I
wait on that.
started doing
Meth.
cocaine. I started doing meth. I was lit. No, uh, yeah,
Little
people.
rougher. I was asking
Anyone?
about the Rubik's Cube because we want to add one in the game. I don't know if you saw the trailer. You can examine objects in your hand. So I did a Rubik's Cube just fucking around because I do some 3D modeling in the game, and I did one, and I was really happy with him. So I put it in the game, and I just started looking at him, and would be so much fun. Just have one that maybe put some key inside of him, something like that. I hope we can get it done before the release of the game. I think I cut you off. I'm so sorry.
No, no, you're fine. I thought it was gonna freeze. That's why I was like, no.
That's
uh,
real.
I'm hoping that this take is
Oh,
the one that
instead
we
of
can
hope,
do.
I said.
Let
So
me
dumb.
let me release all of my skeletons in my closet here. I'm trying to find the handle. Here it is.
You open up, is the friend that you put the prank on?
Round
Oh, that
two,
would be a good,
motherfucker. Round two.
the best plot twist.
Actually, that would be pretty fucking hilarious if just the
Oh,
guy that I pulled his chair, he comes out with a chair and just does like we just have like a straight up WrestleMania match for like 12 minutes.
he broke the chair in there.
Ugh.
Yeah,
I
that's
would
pretty good.
I would love that.
Let's set this up for the 3 years, like 2023. We can do that, okay? You just call him up and everything.
Hey, I know we haven't spoken in like 15 years, but hey, do you want to do a
Can you
WrestleMania
hit
match on my podcast?
and you have like the wrestling clothes below the your normal clothes, and you rip them off. Oh, that would be
I
great.
always wear my wrestling leotard just in
In
case
case.
for these instances.
Oh my god.
So yeah, your game Hazel Sky, that's gonna be dope. There's no WrestleMania in it
Not at all.
yet.
Yeah,
But
some
so
ideas.
I think one of the things too, so from going from blade and fuck, blade and bone, bone and blade, bone in my blade. Uh,
To, to
what
Hazel.
what would you say that you guys learned from doing that game and then going on
Just
to this one?
just looking at the trailer, you can tell that we didn't know how to make a game like at all. At least in my opinion. Like I know we're gonna cringe at some stuff in Hazel when we are going to the next game, but Hazel Sky is gonna be like a full-fledged experience. Like there are games every day reaching Steam, right? Every day there are like I don't know 20 games releasing on Steam, and
18 of
less
them are hentai.
not only that, not only the hentai stuff, but real games is like I would say 10 a month on Steam. Like really real games that people put effort in it. There's not an empty map. There are quality insurance. And I think we were like in the middle of that between a full-fledged game and a shitty Steam game. Blade and Bones was really in the middle of that, and because our assets were original, we were not like downloading free stuff and putting in the game. Our actors were paid. We had actors playing the characters in the game. We put effort in it, but the budget, we ran out of budget in the case of Blade and Bonds, and we are not going to run out of budget in Hazel Sky because we won the mega grant from Epic, and we also have a publisher, so they are not going to allow us to release we trust them. They will not allow us to release a game that isn't good, and at the same time we will not release another bad game, so everything will run really way smoother this time, and the game will be a solid game. Like I'm not gonna say like it's gonna have 9 on Metacritic or anything like that, but it's not gonna go below a 7. Like the game is gonna be not bug free, but will be a solid game from the start. We don't want to patch it, anything like that. Like we are looking at the game, something like we're gonna release it and that's it. So we are working like the whole structure, the way we work has changed so much from the way we organize uh, our assets, the way we do animations, everything in the game, and in our company. Like we changed locations. We have this sound room right now. Everything changed so much that it's it's gonna be really hard to, well, as a whole, this game has a more emotional connection, at least with myself. When I wrote the dialogue between Shane and Erin, the protagonists of the game, I was breaking up with my girlfriend. I had already broke up with my girlfriend, so I just put it
Yeah.
all the anxious energy inside of that text. So, uh, and I in one night I wrote the entire script. I was like sobbing, crying like a crazy person, and from that on, the rest of the game fitted. I just play it inside, so I was really like, let's not have any tutorials. Let's just focus on the experience, and that's what Hazel Sky became.
Do you feel like it's a very almost like cathartic way of going about this where um
Totally.
yeah,
Yeah.
like I would also say like you I feel like um it's really hard to have something like that, like where you put so much work into something and it turns out not the best. But I
Yeah.
think it really speaks to just character in general. Just I you can see the flaws in what you've done, but at the same time you can at least see like, okay, there's still something else from here that we can kind of just like take out of the one experience, like all the good, and we can put it into something and actually
Sure.
like let the good of it like flourish out into
Yeah.
something that's because it's always awkward too. Like, hey, I know you made this game that people think are bad, but do you want to talk about your game that you're hoping is good? You know, but like a
Sure.
lot of times you can never
Well,
know about that.
there's no way to have Hazel Sky without Blade and Bones, and we are aware of that. Not only on the design and everything else that we evolved, but and the asset quality, but we ported a game to PS4, and that was a big deal for us. You know, like uh, science science. I was in getting my degree, and everybody here was getting the same degree here in the local university, and I remember in my second class, I started talking with our main programmer about making a game and everything like that, and a teacher heard us, and he said, you guys just can't do that. That's really hard. You guys are not gonna be able to make a game. And it was like the worst teacher possible, you know. So, and there was every time I think about that teacher, I feel so good because we, as much as Blade and Bones was a flawed game and a flawed product as a whole, because I don't think it delivers. That's why we think about remaking Blade and Bones one day and giving a free copy to everybody that bought the old one, so we can have like a complete portfolio with good stuff. Uh, I just lost my train of thought. I'm so sorry.
But yeah, no, like I definitely get where you're coming from because I mean you put so much time into it. You want
Yeah,
people to enjoy it. I've seen games go from just a pure shit show to just all of a sudden it's amazing.
sure.
It's
And well, the monetary gain also came from Blade and Bones. Like we got money back. Like we invested way less. I think I can say that like $4,000 making Blade and Bones. Something really really small. Like we didn't pay ourselves. Like we work it for free and all that. But and we got like 20 times that back, and we put it all on making Hazel Sky. So really could not exist without Blade Bones Hazel Sky, because we only signed it with the publisher like 3 4 months ago. So the funding came from Blade as a whole, the majority part of the development.
I would say that your next game is gonna be your guys's like redemption arc.
Yeah.
Everyone has a redemption arc. I think everyone deserves a second chance on anything. And I think that you guys are gonna. I think you guys are. If anything, this is gonna be the biggest learning step for you guys. I mean,
Sure.
before you guys didn't even have a studio like what you're sitting in right now. Like now you guys
Yeah.
are like you're making traction. So hey, you know what? Like first go around, it's better than anything I could have made. That's for sure. The only thing I did was the rolling ball tutorial on Unity, and I'm like, well, I'm satisfied. It works. But the fact
Yeah.
that you put like so much effort into the game, I mean, I know that a lot of people will just shit on a game just because of whatever, but I don't think a lot of people realize that there are people on the other ends of those games. And
Yeah.
creating a game's not easy. And a lot of times there's a lot of ideas that go into a game and you realize it doesn't mesh, but you don't realize it until the end.
Sure. And at the same time, I feel like design wise and the mechanics we were planning on and trying to do with Blade and Bones were solid. Like there, it had like, I don't know if you got to play it or anything like that, but it had like cool Souls like ideas, different ideas. Like there was a day night cycle with 3 different moons, and each moon changed the boss behavior. There were like good lore and stuff like that in the game, but the execution was so fail. Like that's why we feel like making a remake would be better, even though we like Souls like games and we would love to do something else with Souls like. Doing a remake from Blade and Bones would be really like paying a homage to the really good ideas. If you see the Steam reviews from our game from Blade and Bones, you can see there are people really sad on the comments, on the reviews, saying this had so much potential if I could hit the enemies, but I can't. It's like truly execution flaws, not really I would say design or even artistic flaws. The game looks okay, not as good as Hazel. Like if you see the trailer for Blade and Bones and Hazel Sky, there's a majority difference between like our lighting, our ambient occlusion, and everything else. Like our color palette, it changed so much the way we tried to have a new art direction since then. Like we didn't use a concept artist for Blade and Bones. We just did what we wanted, and whole areas would change. Now there's snow in this area, like in 1 month, and we have no organization skills or anything like that. So now we are way far from that. And what you were saying about people not understanding that there is another opposite to complaining about a game. At the same time, I feel like people work so hard, like you yourself, like, and you just go to Steam and you expect to buy a good product. Like that's why I feel like Epic Game Store is getting so much better, because if you are in the Epic Game Store, you are probably a good game. So there's no shitty games on Epic Game Store, and I like really shitty games, and that I think that's what Steam is missing. Like there's so many ways that you can expend your money on Steam and be so frustrated. like games with empty rooms and empty mechanics that cost $30, and that's not alright with people like spending their hard-earned cash on those games. And we feel like that a little bit about Blade. We don't want people to. That's why we didn't make another trailer. That's why we didn't make a launch trailer. We just did the review gameplay trailer because we felt ashamed that we even had only that to show people. So yeah, that's it.
Okay, so if you saw like a weird fade or maybe nothing happened because I'm bad at editing videos, Skype Skype has been a real shit show, and we've had it drop like 4 times now. So I apologize for the quality of this. If you're listening to it on like SoundCloud or something, you're not even gonna notice because there is no video. At least I don't think there is. I don't know what you're watching, but hey, that's cool. But I guess I just really wanted to. I shouldn't have just keep clapping into the I'm sorry. So I guess just to wrap things up, yeah, just let people. Okay, fuck. I'm keeping.
You want people to go to the Steam page of Hazel Sky and add the game to their wish list. That's what you were going to say, right?
Yes, add Hazel Sky to your wish list. If you're curious about their other game, you can also check out that game as well.
No, you can't.
If you want to play a game with good ideas and a good first attempt at try to make a game, I mean, look through it, or don't play it. I mean, you do you. But check them out on Twitter. What is your guys' Twitter?
Coffee Addict _GS, but people can play the demo. Is like the first 10 minutes of Hazel Sky from tomorrow till Monday, I guess, would be the time that will be available.
Jesus. So from the 17th of March of 2020, because it's going to date it now. So from March 17th to like the 22nd or something.
Yeah,
you'll get to see more of it. And if you missed
this week, you're going to be able to play the game like the first 10 minutes and building the first machine in the game, which is like there are 3 machines in the game that you build, and you do action set piece, build another machine, do a bigger action set piece, and that's it.
Cool. So yeah, check out the game. If you're currently watching it and it's like the 17th or whatever of 2020 of March, then check out the demo. If it's beyond that point, you can probably find a video of it somewhere. And if it's way in the future, the game's available and you should just buy it anyway. And if it's way into the future, we're all dead.
Then Trump is still your president. just gonna we didn't talk about that because in the last podcast he said Trump was not going to be the president. I said he maybe was. I remember that.
Aged like milk. So bad. And now look at us. I have a slight...
Now look at it.
I've been talking a lot, so that's why I have a slight cough, because I'm like, I need water.
Yeah, like we just did 3 podcasts.
We did an hour's worth of stuff and only going to use half of it. Hooray!
Yes, I'm gonna have a better setup close to the release of the game. If you want to do another one, so I'm gonna have a cable with the network, not a network Bluetooth shitty stuff.
I will be down, and hopefully everyone out there will be down as well. Hopefully we have more episodes coming up, since things are at the time of this recording slowly being quarantined. I don't see why not have more episodes, because what the fuck else are we gonna do? I don't see why not. So
yeah. You need to update your Twitter profile. Just finishing up the podcast talking about that, because you look so better with the bird. the beard. I can't pronounce things right. I'm Brazilian.
Everyone can look at my patchy beard, though maybe
Yeah.
the quality won't be so high, so maybe it'll look a lot more full than it really is. I'm just lazy when it comes to this. It's like I was gonna get a haircut and make myself look presentable, and then it's like, don't go anywhere. Okay.
Then
You
use that
got it.
as excuse. I can't cut my hair. I can't go around.
So for now, I just have emo kid hair. Make sure to buy my emo kid album off of MySpace. We'll be going on tour with All Time Low and Fall Out Boy here in a little bit. So
I would go.
Hey, tickets are on sale now. It's a virtual show. Actually, that'd be dope, but that's a different time. Thank you so much for coming onto the show again, and thank you anyone out there who is listening and putting up with this. The episode that I last posted did better than most of my episodes that I usually post on.
Then you stop. Like that's like the worst.
I warned everyone. I'm on like the JonTron schedule of like it'll be out when it's out.
You went on a high note, like.
I'd rather go on a high note than actually. If you look at the
Yeah.
SoundCloud statistics, it's fucking. Because
He was getting so good.
it was.
People
it
are
was.
like that.
Like every day, well, not every day, but like every week, I was averaging like, well, I think it's good of like 100 to 200 listens every
That's
week.
so great.
And I'm like, yeah, and now it's like 8 to 10 listens because I
Yeah,
haven't had
that's-
anything. I also don't
Yeah.
post on Reddit anymore because I don't know. I don't know.
you
People
should.
don't like it when
People
you
can
post your own
be-
stuff on Reddit.
It depends on the community. Like PS4 community, like brought us in like we got 10,000 upvotes there. They were so good to us, the moderators and everything else. Like everyone was so supportive of the game. The game is being like it's strange, like 99.8% of likes on YouTube and things like that. So there's a weird like voodoo shit happening because we always get so much hate with Blade and Bones. That's weird that you're not getting anything. So maybe you should post it. The worst can happen. They are going to take it off and ban you forever.
Hooray. If anything, if anyone out there is watching it and they want to post it somewhere, sure,
I can post.
go for it. I'm not going to stop anyone. But thank you guys, everyone out there, for listening. Thank you again for coming onto the show. And hopefully the splicing of the video is not too weird. I keep throwing up gang signs. I don't know what any of this means. You
'Cause
can't
I
even
did it
see it because
before.
my mic's in the fucking
That's
way.
the thumbnail. That's the thumbnail.
No, the thumbnail has
Two
to be
white
super
guys.
clickbaity. We have to be like this.
Racial slurs is reaching over.
Oh, hold on. We gotta do the thumbnail of like. If I actually find that, I will make it the thumbnail. People are like,
Let's
oh,
hope.
he's selling out. It's like, no, I'm making fun of it. But then again, if I'm doing it, but I'm also making fun of it, isn't it just the same? It
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Just prepare to have your highest rating podcast.
You know, that's all I can ask for. That's all I can ask. Who knows? Who knows what'll
Yeah.
happen? Maybe someday I'll learn to keep my hands within the frame, but
Inside
until
the
then,
frame.
I won't. I'll have more anime figures in the background too. Someone's gonna see them and be like, "What a fucking degenerate," and they're right. Thank you guys for listening. Take care, and go check out the game. Do that. I don't know how to end these things. Goodbye.
Bye.